Welcome back, Kitchen Table Wargaming. We've got another battle report for you. Today it's going to be the Grey Knights facing off against the Custodes. I'm a little scared, but we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll come back in a second and show you the lists, and we'll go over all the tips and the tricks and the funky stuff we got going on today. Alright folks, here we have 2,000 points of the Golden Boys. Everybody's going to recognize and observe that this is Mr. Trajan. Trajan is the warlord because he must be. He has, I don't remember the names of everything, but he can regen on a 5+ for stratagems that are spent. So he, is able to help give you free command point stratagem things, which is kind of nifty. He has the martial superiority that allows you to change your kata, or rearrange the order of the katas that you choose. Kata. Yeah, that's fun to say. He also, of course, gives reroll hit rolls within 6 inches, and he does something else, I think. I don't remember. Oh, he can heroic 6 inches.
Yeah, 6 inches.
That's kind of rude. I don't like that. So he's doing his thing. He's being Trajan, being a big bad. This dude on these cool, I love this. This mostly or all printed army, I think. It's very snazzy. I like that we've got some bikes that are actually lions. You'll see there's a couple more bikes over here that are lions. This guy is he a Terminator shield captain, or he's
it's a
is it a lord? I can't remember what he called him.
Shield captain on a
jet bike. Okay, yeah. And he has my brain just blanked on me. He has the warlord traits added to him, so spend some CP on that. He has the tip of the spear, which is a reroll hits and wounds of 1 when you charge, or is it rerolling hits of 1 when you charge? He also has another one, and I can't remember the second one that he got. Oh, it's the one that lets you redeploy.
Yeah, redeploy.
So he's got that going on for him. Plus he gets the reroll 1s bubble for hits. Reroll 1s to hit in a bubble. That was easy to say. And if there's something else, we'll probably catch it and let y'all know later. Then after that, we've got 3 squads of 3 jet bikes. I'm not terribly excited because he has the hurricane bolters, which means all my little single wound dudes, not single wound, my small Terminator dudes, Terminators. Wow, I'm having a hard time. My regular dudes are going to have a lot of bullets to face. That's what I'm trying to get out. But I am sort of happy that he doesn't have tons of the laser missile things that people are putting on some of their jet bikes these days, because yeah, those are kind of nasty too. Then we have the Gladys. He's got the sword and the shield. He is just big, chunky, and he's going to do a lot of, he gets the +1 save with a shield. Going to do a lot of wounding. If you don't know, the dreadnoughts do not get the kata. So they don't get access to that, but he still has everything else. Oh, and I didn't say, this is Emperor's Chosen. 4 up, feel no pain against mortal wounds. How appropriate when facing off against the Grey Knights. Good times. We have 3 squads of Sagittarum back here. They are just as they are. And then we have 2 squads of the Custodian Guard. They have the swords and the shields, and they're going to be rocking around, being annoying, getting that extra 1-up to their saves, all the good stuff. So this will be a good time. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. I was hoping to do mortal wounds to kill him, but he's got that 4-up ignore mortal wounds, so it might be a little harder. We'll see. We'll have a good time with this. That's 2,000 points of the Golden Boys. And here we go with the Grey Knights. So I have a double patrol because I do like my characters. We have 2 squads of Strike Marines. There's 1 in each patrol. They are exactly as they are. This one is mostly swords with a stave. This is mostly halberds with a stave, except for the Justicar has a sword there. I have 4 characters. So this is the Dread Knight with the Sigil of Exigence, so he can teleport once when targeted and shooting. He I think that's all he has special-wise. And he has the Foretelling of Locust. I paid the points for him to take that, so I can redeploy 3 things at the beginning of the game that are core. I have Draigo. He's the Chapter Master, doing Chapter Master things. I have Mr. Crow. I did spend an extra CP to give him his Warlord trait, so he gets the Hammer of Righteousness, which is +1 to wound, when he charges or makes a charge with his 6-inch heroic and his making characters fight last. Could be fun, could maybe not be, I don't know. This is Mr. Warlord, this is the captain, so he has, just as he appears equipment-wise, but he also has the cuirass for the 1-up save, or the +1 save, and 5-up feel no pain. And his Warlord trait is the OBSEC bubble, So he has that 6-inch aura of Obsec with him. I have 5 purifiers because I haven't used them in a while and they're just fun. I've got a big squad of 10 interceptors, a squad of 5 interceptors. I have a Razorback with heavy bolter, storm bolter, 2 rhinos, and 2 dread knights. And that is exactly 2,000 points. Oh, it must be this guy because this guy has the foretelling of Locust. He has the turn off Overwatch once per battle. So those are all of my points, all of my expenditures. I've used the CPs, so I'm starting a little bit lower, but we'll have some fun with this. So we'll be back in a minute to show you deployment and mission and hurrah huzzah. All right, folks, we rolled up mission number 33, which is called Secure Missing Artifacts. So you've got a deployment zone that goes that way from the midpoint down to this corner. Same thing here, midpoint on that side to that corner over there. Custodes are hiding nothing. Everything is on the board. We've got jet bikes. We've got more jet bikes. We've got big old Gladys. We've got some Sagittarium or Sagittarius. I don't remember how to say them. Custodian board, shield, sword and board, custodian guard, Trajan. There's some more Sagittarium in the building back there. We've got another set of jet bikes over here and more Sagittarium on this objective. And where's your character on the bike? That's this guy right here, right? This guy up here in the front. So he's the character on the bike. Let's see. On my side, I was trying out some things, so we'll be a little different. I've got a Dread Knight. I've got Draigo because he's hidden from line of sight. Got the captain back here, Razorback with Crow, 5 purifiers. We've got the Dread Knight, the Grandmaster one. This is a Rhinoceros with 10 interceptors. This is a Rhino with 5 interceptors and 5 strikes. And then I've got another Dread Knight there, and I've got 5 strikes that are sitting in Teleportarium waiting to drop in somewhere and do something helpful, I hope. I think that's it. For the mission rules for this one, you have a center objective that stays where it is. The other 2, and on each half of the board, you will move. So we rolled off. I made Carlo have to go be the attacker, or whatever that's called. So he had to pick to move an objective marker first. Then I moved 2. So he moved that one closer to his deployment zone. I moved that one, which is his priority marker, away from his deployment, or at least out of the cover over there. So he's got to kind of be a little bit exposed to hold it. He still has space to hide behind a building. Carlo moved this one. This is the last one to move, so it's just slid over there towards the edge and out in the open. And then this one I moved back. And this is my priority objective marker. And you score 3 points for holding your priority objective marker. Easy peasy. That's all there is to it. I think that's the important stuff. So now it is time for the roll-off.
Oh, we can score right away. I mean, on priorities.
On priority objective, you do. Yeah, at the end of your turn. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It is.
I thought that's on the second, third that we do.
Not for this one. This is the mission bonus
you
only.
can get one
Mission
right away.
bonus only. So let's go ahead and roll off and see who starts. He starts with a mighty 3. I start with a mighty 5. It's gonna be Grey Knights. Turn 1. Oh, sorry folks. I did forget when I was looking at my army. I'm trying out Blades of Victory. Blades of Victory has a specific spell that allows me to re-roll charges. If I would choose to put that on a unit, anybody that can cast it can cast that. So I have that, and I don't remember if I said it or not. I paid the point for him. Now I'm going to have to double check. I might not have paid it for this guy to have the Vanguard Aggression because I already have an extra Warlord trait. No, I am starting at 8 command points. I'll double check it, I'll let you know. There is a Warlord trait for them, Vanguard Aggression, that I would put on him that allows him to pregame move 6 and pick a unit within 9 of him to also move 6 with him as well. But I'm having second thoughts as to whether I put that on this list or a different list. It's very similar. Anyways, we'll be back with the Grey Knights. Turn 1 next.
The most basic unit is...
Alrighty guys, we are done with Grey Knights turn 1. I ended up not redeploying even though I paid points for that. Oh, well. This guy shuffled forward. He could see around the corner shooting at those bikes over there. He did not do any damage at all. This Rhinoceros rolled forward, staying out of line of sight. I am starting in the Tide of Shadows, by the by. This guy moved up. That's another Rhino. Moved up, sitting on that objective over there. We cast Sanctuary onto him with Draigo, who is moved forwards as well into this building. The Razorback with Crow and the Purifiers is sitting back here with Mr. Captain. we did Purifying Ritual on all 3 objectives, but I had to gate this guy in order to get somebody onto the objective to do Purifying Ritual. You can see a lot of cards. I spent Gate from Draigo, so that's why that's there. I spent a command point. He did Purifying Ritual, cast it successfully, spent a command point for Mental Focus to then give him the chapter-specific one for reroll charges, which, as you can tell from where he's positioned, didn't matter. I was trying to charge into just this squad of 3 right here. I rolled a 5 twice, so yay for that. I have also spent a command point on him for the Psychic Onslaught with +1 Strength and +1 AP. And he had Chapter Master, still has Chapter Master, and we were able to kill 2 whole Sagittarum. So it's better than nothing. Everything else that could shoot and could see shot into the squad of 3 bikes over here, and we wounded 1. Yeah, he's got 3 wounds left, so not even terribly wounded, but we did do some wounding. So I completed Purifying Ritual 3 times, and I got Stranglehold. I never showed y'all the secondaries that we picked, so those are mine. No prisoners. I figure I'm gonna make everything count if I'm killing stuff. He has banners aboard the Witch and behind enemy lines. So we'll be back for Custodes, turn 1. Well, the Custodes turn 1 has come to a close. These guys all came around, did a lot of shooting with Hurricane Bolters, and took a wound off of this guy. Then they made their charges. These guys over here charged into my Razorback. The Razorback was down to 4 wounds after failing a few saves from some Sagittarum with Heavy Bolters. If I had made my command reroll, the Razorback would have survived this round, ironically enough, because I cast Sanctuary on it. So with 1 command reroll, would have kept it alive. I tried. I rolled a 1 into a 1. So the Rhino died, or the Razorback died anyways. I lost 2 guys getting out. These guys just barely, by the scariest of hairs, fit here. The rest of the comrades. So they are disembarked. He stayed outside of Heroic for the Dread Knight, because I can't go through a building. So that was that story over here. This Dread Knight that was once there was killed by Trajan. The Galatis charged and didn't get to shoot him. So he very much took the objective here in the middle. So now he owns 4 out of the 5 objectives. And let's see, those guys, they advanced. And everybody else, we raised banners back there and got priority objective in the corner, of course. These guys are still on it. The back guy there is above the objective. So had a whole lot of moving, coming close to me, killing me. Didn't lose a lot of units yet, but that's just the beginning. So here's where we sit. We both got 3 for priority objective. He picked up 2 for Aboard the Witch because he killed a Dread Knight. And that's it for the scoring for turn 1. I am down to 3 command points after interrupting. Oh, that's what I did. I interrupted combat over here with this guy when he was still healthy. I punched, or I sliced into him and took all but 3 wounds off of him with my mighty Dread Knight. And then it survived. It's got 2 wounds left.
Took 6 wounds off me.
I got 10 wounds through and he shrugged 4 of them. So I did some work.
I got 3 wounds left.
I was proud of that guy. He did a thing. So he's sitting there, and I don't think there's really a realistic way I'm going to get Stranglehold this next turn, but I'm going to try. So we'll be back for Grey Knights, turn 2 in a minute. Oh, the end of the Grey Knights, turn 2. So out here, everybody got out. We moved in such a way as to smite into the character. The Emperor's Chosen 4+ against mortal wounds is rude. So his captain survived, so I charged everybody into the captain after we shot a lot at him and took 1 wound off. Well, actually, we didn't take any wounds off in shooting. Only in combat did we kill him. And it took all of what was left of this squad and this squad to finally kill the captain or lord character guy that was there. And then these guys piled into the bikes just to keep them from moving out further in trying to get in behind enemy lines. I didn't want that. The Dread Knight that was here swung in, did 3 wounds, and then he saved all 3 wounds, so that was disappointing. Except for the 1 mortal. He did take a wound from a mortal wound from his 6s to wound. Because I changed my tides, I guess I should say that. I changed the tide into the tide that does mortals on 6s to wound. I did spend the command point for fight on the move, so that Dread Knight fell back and then charged, so he could do the shooting and still charge. We did purify the ritual here. Oh, and you can see I did play transhuman or true silver armor. on the strike squad because Mr. Carlo interrupted combat and struck into these guys. It did help me a whole lot because I only lost 2.5 boys using my transhuman. So that was a good play for me there and kept OBSEC on the point. Over here, this guy, too fat to fit through the alleyway, so I charged straight into the bikes. The interceptors moved up there, charged into the sorting board boys that were there, and killed them all. It was beautiful. Draigo is underneath this wound marker, under the corner of the building. He charged Trajan. He's outside of an inch of the Galatis, but only because the terrain was kind of funny. It might not look like he is exactly there, but he is. He did hit Trajan, and he did do 2 wounds and forced a mortal CP reroll is what he did, because otherwise Trajan would have died. He forced a CP reroll from the 2 failed saves and did an extra with a mortal wound. So I did knock Trajan down. He's taken 4 wounds so far. He's getting dead, but not dead yet. So we'll see if Draigo survives this. Draigo took 6 whole wounds to the face because he failed 2 of his 3-up saves. That was kind of embarrassing. And that is it. So, unfortunately, Mr. Trajan, having OBSEC, still holds this point in the middle, even though I've got a bunch of bodies around it. He still has that one in the corner. I did shoot. I didn't even wound them because they have a good save up in the building. And everything else back here was fine. I did not deep strike anyone yet, so I still have 5 Marines waiting to come down. And then I tried to use Gate to jump this Razorback full of goodies somewhere else on the board and failed. So there it sits with a 4-up invulnerable save. Yeah, that's that. So we're going to come back in a minute to see how much the Custodes can pick up in turn 2. Ho, folks, Custodes turn 2 is over. Over here, we did some swinging over here. These guys actually didn't really do anything. We were in the back and forth as far as who did not charge. This squad of 5 picked up 2 bikes, basically, with their combined attacks, while the Strike Marines did nothing. So I was proud of them. That guy, in turn, killed 3 of them. They did not fail morale. So this is this corner. Nothing really crazy exciting happened over there. However, towards the middle of the board, Mr. Galatis was able to fit through that, so that was kind of cute. He came around, charged into Big Boy. He did not kill Big Boy. He left Big Boy on a single wound. The bike killed Big Boy because I was more interested in my first activation being Draigo into Trajan, and Draigo succeeded. Oh, Draigo killed Trajan. I was so excited. Then, of course, Trajan fought on death and killed Draigo. Well, it's all right. I'm okay. But I'm excited because I've now killed both of his characters, and Draigo killed Trajan by himself. I will add, I was very proud of him. Draigo
pretty
was
much
great.
Single-handedly.
He did.
Single-handedly.
It was fabulous.
He killed the
But on sad front, the 8 interceptors who were over here got shot a lot by Sagittarium in the windows. These guys who moved up this direction then charged and just cleaned up over here, so they are no more. No morale phase, though. That's something. And on this side of the board, the bikes that were back there moved all the way up to here. Did a little bit of pot shots through the terrain. They were touching in, and there's a hole in the wall up here, so they shot the Razorback, did like a wound. But then they made their 9-inch charge. I did decide to heroic with the Capitan, because I have OBSEC with him, and he survived. I took 2 bikes attacked him, and he survived with 2 wounds, and then some shots went into the Razorback, who even with Sanctuary still took a bunch of wounds. And that's where we sit. Mr. Galatis on his pile-in got into my deployment zone. These guys are in my deployment zone. So Mr. Carlo picked up 4 on behind enemy lines this turn. He picked up a whole bunch of aboard the Witch this turn, and got his 2 points for banners. And that's where we sit. So I've got a bunch of junk back here that I can't really get to, which makes me sad. So I don't know about Stranglehold. I still have some guys over here that I can do stuff with, and I've got some guys on this Razorback that'll pop out, and I don't think any of it's enough to deal with bikes and Big Galatis coming at me, and another bike back there. So I'm in a tough spot. But we'll see what we can do. We'll be back. Grey Knight's turn 3 in just a second. Well, folks, Grey Knight's turn 3 is over. these guys deep struck in. We did some smiting from the strike squad. We moved the Rhino up here to take a charge first and keep that bike from flying around and killing my OBSEC unit back here. We charged in. Sergeant whiffed everything. I was kind of disappointed. But then the guys with halberds cleaned up and we knocked out the one bike over there. These two interceptors that survived this combat paid the 1 CP, fell back, got into this where they had the window to see in and do a smiting into this guy. Rolled boxcars, so the giant smite goes off. I did 3 mortal wounds to myself, shrugged 1, so I killed one of my guys. Then I only did 3 to him, and he ignored most of them. It was very disappointing. Then I shot at him, and that was it. Over here, disembarked Crow, disembarked the Purifiers. You'll notice that the brother captain is conspicuously absent here. So here's how this went. We did Purifying Flame, did a few wounds, did Purifying Flame from Crow, did a bunch of wounds. We killed a whole jet bike with that, even with the 4-up ignoring. Then we did some charging in here, and in melee we killed another and a half of his jet bikes on this objective. Crow actually didn't really do anything. It was all the Purifying squad that did the wounding over there because of his good save throws. Then Mr. Brother Captain, his intent was to cast Gate of Infinity onto this Razorback so it could shoot its heavy bolters. I was intending to shoot it into that jet bike. It was going to be great. I was so excited. He rolled double 6s, just like that Interceptor squad. He also did not shrug his 2 mortal wounds that he took, so he died. He then exploded on himself. He then did a mortal wound to them. They ignored it. He did a mortal wound to Crow. He did not ignore it. He did 2 mortal wounds to the Razorback, and he did 2 mortal wounds to a jet bike. It was very violent. So he was removed from play. The spell did not go off. He sat there. Crow took all the hits from the 2 bikes. He survived on a single wound. It was wild. A very back and forth kind of psychic phase for me. You'll notice I spent all my casts doing smites, so no purifying ritual points for me. So I didn't really score a whole lot other than my 8 for primary that turn. And now I've still got to deal with one more bike. I've got a silly dreadnought that's going to wreck face, and then I've got another bike coming in at me. So there's still a lot of problems I have to figure out how to deal with if I survive them, and then we'll proceed from there. So we'll be back with the Custodes turn 3 in just a second. The Custodes turn 3 has now ended. These guys are happy in the middle. The back squad shuffled out to be able to get line of sight down this way because I forgot to consolidate with my strike squad after they hit, and could have moved them back here and gotten out of line of sight, but I didn't. I messed that up. So he shot and killed them. The Rhino survived just fine, so it's still holding that objective for me, and I did still have these guys here, so I would have been able to come back around, which is what it is. This guy did his advance just to make sure there would be at least 2 units in my deployment zone, because he made a charge with the Galatis, but there was no guaranteeing that I wouldn't kill the bike if he didn't do that charge. So it was a good play to bring that guy in and advance him. The combat. The Galatis only killed 2 Purifiers, and I did not have Transhuman or any of that good stuff, so I was excited about that. But then the bike got to hit, or actually Crow hit, did like a wound. No, he didn't do any mortal wounds in his attacking, and he saved all of his saves, and then the bike killed Crow. It was kind of lacking. Crow didn't do me a whole lot this game, but I mean, it was still exciting. And then back here, we still have all of this stuff holding down and locking that down. So realistically, there's nothing I can do to catch up. It's getting a little late, so we're going to have to call the game tonight. But here's the final score. I still had bodies to play with, but there's not really any way I would score any more points in this game. So I ended up with 40 for myself. I could potentially have scored a few more Purifying Ritual, possibly could kill another model or 2 out of the back, so he's not going to score behind enemy lines 4 points every turn, but that's about all I could have done. So that's it. So I got to 40 there. He, at the end of the game, was sitting on 70 already. That's including paint. And he would have had 2 more turns to continue scoring 12 on primary with just those 3 objectives, continuing to hold behind enemy lines. And let me tell you what, Emperor's Chosen, that is nothing to laugh at. The 4-up ignoring mortal wounds killed my spirits in this game. There were so many times I did D3 mortal wounds and I rolled a 3 and he ignored 2, or all of them. I was so sad. It's bad enough when they have a 4-up invul save. But then he has a 4-up against my mortals too, and I was like, oh, it hurts my soul. Over here, could have done a whole lot more, but I didn't because he ignored so many mortals. Anyways, Emperor's Chosen, very cool to see them in action. I wish I had more stuff that survived longer into the game, but I didn't. So, I don't know. I don't feel bad. I still have models to play with, and I still have units around on the board. So, I feel like I played it smarter than I played some of my more recent games, and it was fun. But he's got a whole Custodes army back there that I would never have been able to get to and crack open. So, it is what it is. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We will be back next time for another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report.